Hello and welcome back to the Virtual Man YouTube channel. On this channel you find the latest news on Azure Virtual Desktop, Nerdio, Intune, Windows 365 and much more. In today's video we're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about how AI can help you manage your environment. So the feature we're going to focus on specifically is the new Intune support capability. Microsoft recently released this feature in public preview. We're going to log on to the Intune console, ask it some questions and see what it comes back with. So let's have a look at this feature in a bit more in depth, right? So we just head over to the Microsoft release notes so we can explore exactly what this feature is. So as we can see, this was released on the week of January 20th, 2025, and its description is the support assistant is now available in Intune. It leverages AI to enhance your help and support experience, ensuring more efficient issue resolution. We're going to leverage the AI capabilities which Microsoft have released. The support assistant is available in the Microsoft Intune Admin Center by selecting Troubleshoot Support, Help and Support. So let's head over there right now and have a look at this feature. I'm now in the Intune console. So if I go over to Troubleshooting and Support, and then I click on Help and Support, here we have the option to select which bits we want to explore. I'm going to explore two of them today. The first one that I'm going to explore is the Intune, and the second one is the Windows 365. Okay, so we'll have a look at these two and see how they work. The first one we're going to do is Intune. If I click on Intune, that's opening up the new support assistant. This is the new feature here, so we can turn it on and off if we want to. If we want to go back to the old method, we can do, but this is the new method where we're basically using generative AI to ask it questions about the Intune environment, right? So I prepared some prompts that we're going to ask it and see how it responds to those prompts. Okay, so let's go ahead and do prompt number one. This is the support assistant. First question I'm going to ask is identify and resolve compliance policy conflicts with devices enrolled in Intune. So I'm just going to let that go. It's going away and it's thinking about it. Okay, let's see what it's come back with. When I first started using this, I thought it would look at stuff in the environment and give me information back. What it's actually doing is looking through all the KB documents and pulling back information to tell me how to do stuff. Hopefully in the future it will be better around stuff like that. For example, if I'm saying identify and resolve compliance and policy conflict, I would expect it to give me all the devices with a compliance policy conflict. But what we're actually doing here with this is looking at the documentation and showing me where to look to troubleshoot that. So for example, it's basically saying reference the Microsoft Learn documentation, which you can see here with Windows lapse policy. Review conflict reports, so we could go into here and have a look and see how to, so this is looking at the lap stuff, which is not really right, so I would expect it to point me to the general documentation. Okay, all right, so that's prompt one. I'd say that's a fail. Let's try another prompt and see how that goes. So prompt number two I'm giving it is analyze application deployment failures across all managed devices and suggest remediation steps. Okay, I'm going to get that. This is giving me step-by-step instructions, but seems to be a bit more accurate than the last response. So the last one just gave me a Windows lapse report, which is what I didn't ask for. But this one's actually giving me information around how to look at the actual information that I need. Okay, so that's a bit more accurate, and then it's giving me the documentation on how to go through application assignment stuff. Okay, that one's, I'd say that was successful. So let's try another one. The next one, please provide a report on Windows Update compliance for all enrolled devices and highlight any overdue updates. Okay, so let's see what this gives me. Okay, so it's basically telling us how to go into the Intune Admin Center, navigate to reports when there's updates. Okay, yeah, that's good. And then check needs compliance breakdown. Okay, yeah, so it's telling me exactly what I needed to do. So again, I'm going to do that as a success. In the future, what I'd like to see from these features is the ability to actually go ahead and give me that information rather than just send me a link to the documentation. I actually want to see that information within there as well. From an admin perspective, it's really useful. It saves you having to search through all the different documentation to get that information. So yeah, definitely useful. Okay, so now that we've got the Intune stuff, let's look at the Windows 365 information. and see what that's like. I'm going to click on Start Again. And this time go to the Windows 365 prompts. How can we help? So tell us a problem you're having so we can get you to the right help and support. Okay, so again, it's going to be directing us to the relevant documentation rather than actually doing it. So analyze network latency and connection stability for my Windows 365 devices and suggest improvements. Okay. All right, so basically it's giving me a prompt of, thanks for asking about Windows 365. You're looking for details on planning and deploying Windows 365. Please review the documentation. Okay. All right, fair enough. That's just giving me the default kind of documentation. So generate a report on cloud PC resource utilization trends and suggest cost optimization stress. And again, this seems to be the standard thing it's doing. Basically, all it's doing is for any question that we ask, it's just pointing us back to the standard Microsoft documentation for Windows 365 and architecture. So again, this is preview. Obviously, this is not GA, so hopefully they'll improve the stuff within there a little bit as well. Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, it's preview. It's probably the first bash that they've had at this. As mentioned, it's very much documentation based. The fact that what we're doing with this, we are just basically pointing to the documentation. So in the future, definitely like to see better integration with the actual service itself, rather than just pointing to documentation, actually pulling back the information. So who's this for? I always use Code to get information, or I use ChatGPT. Let's actually go and compare how we would get that information from ChatGPT and see what the differences are between the two. Okay, so let's have a look. The first one was identify and resolve compliance issues for devices enrolled in Intune. If we go to ChatGPT and ask the same question, okay, this is what it's come back with. Right, pretty similar, right? So ChatGPT, okay. Support Assistant, both given step-by-step settings. The differences within the Microsoft tool Support Assistant, it's just giving you links to the documentation. Okay, just a quick video today to show you the new tool, the new Support Assistant. As I mentioned, it's kind of step one of what Microsoft are doing. I presume they've taken all their documentation, sucked all that information into Copilot, and we can now use kind of generative AI using Copilot built into the Intune console, which is quite cool, right? Because it means that there's people using the environment, supporting, managing the environment that don't have to be signed up to Copilot. Obviously, you can get exactly the same information from Copilot, but this just means we can get all this within the actual sort of products itself. So looking forward to see where Microsoft go with this. I presume this kind of functionality is going to be built into all of their tools in the future. All right, so that's it for today's video. I hope you found it useful, and we'll be back with more videos next week. Thanks, goodbye.